Welcome to the Shop Floor Podcast. My name is Byron. That's Doug.
How's everybody doing?
That's Mike.
Hey, nice to meet you.
The Shop Floor Podcast is powered by Midwestern Ox Productions.
Don't sound so down. It's only Sunday.
I am that close from crashing out.
It happens.
You want me to start talking? Well, I'm asking what order you want to go in.
You're the... Oh my god.
Oh,
You also kind of need to bring up the thing, because without that, Doug's kind of lost.
Well, I'm not there yet, mother...
Why do we start the introduction?
Who the fuck are you, dog? Tell that to the goddamn camera.
I'm Doug. I'm your host of the Shop Floor Podcast. And we originally set out to start a podcast being educational, trying to teach people about the trades, different trades, all the way from carpenter down to electricians, plumbers, pipe fitters, boiler makers. Anyhow, we set up to do that. I've been a carpenter for 10 years now. So I know a little bit of the ins and outs of different trades, done a little bit of this, done a little bit of that. Over here to my left, y'all let you do it.
My name is Michael. I've been in construction for 2 years, and I've done finish trim. I've done exterior siding, stuff like that. Pretty much, if it's from beginning to start, I've kind of been able to play with it all and figure it out and learn as I'm doing it. Not super far into it like you, but I'm still learning.
Takes years.
Yeah. And up there behind the camera, we got Go ahead, Mr. Producer.
I'm in front of the camera. So, you're off to a bad start. Notice how I'm in front.
You're behind those two.
No, I'm not. You see how the display is on that side and I can't fucking see it? Do you notice how I can't see that fucking display?
Yeah, you're behind them. Welcome everybody to the Shop Floor Podcast.
I'll fucking you too.
I don't know what I did.
You showed up 2 hours late!
Oh, this one's gonna be interesting.
Baby mama drama, man. Baby mama drama. Yeah.
Not my fault.
Can't be a construction worker without it, huh?
No, you can't.
Apparently not, because every construction worker that I've had the pleasure of working with, all I have to hear about is their goddamn baby mama drama. And I have had it up to here. I get both work, I get both this show that hasn't even started yet.
So this is
I'm
episode.
getting a fucking migraine.
Well, we just want to welcome everybody to the first episode. Today's topic is modern day boomtowns. Too much work, not enough people. And we're going to have Doug start us off today.
I'd like to give a rundown of what a boomtown is. Kind of like where there's a lot of infrastructure starting up, where a lot of buildings are being put up, industrial units and stuff like that. And we have according to 2024 census of the labor shortage that is going on, and it shows that the industrial area lost 1 million workers since the Great Recession, which would have been in 2009 era. And it seems that there's roughly 1 million fewer workers in the construction trades.
With over half of them being in their almost retirement age.
Yeah, so your average age of a carpenter now is 55. Average age of a welder is what, 60?
Average age of a welder is in the U.S. is about 55.
55 now.
With a significant amount of them being almost retirement age.
Well, if you consider they're at the age that they can draw Social Security at 62, and that ain't including pensions and stuff that you can get. Like my retirement age is 55. Mm-hmm. And that's if you don't work until you're 62. So, what there's more people going out than there is coming in now.
And actually, there is a thing that we have on here. About 50% of the skilled trades workers are nearing retirement age, with the average age of a skilled worker currently over 50. This means for every skilled worker entering the workforce, 5 are leaving. So we are depleting faster than we're gaining.
Yep. Well, I know it said that there was average age of a apprentice carpenter. This was back in 2020, if I remember right, 2020, 2021. Average age of a apprentice carpenter was 29. So we're not getting any younger people in to the trades. They're all wanting to go off to college, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but college is not for everybody.
Well, definitely sucks on a lot of union standpoints when you need to have the younger generation come up behind you guys.
But it's all on how you want to look at it. So college now, what does college estimate after 4 years?
That's Doug's handwriting.
Jesus Christ.
I build stuff for a living.
I'm
not Picasso.
I shouldn't judge that much because I've got some pretty bad handwriting too.
And that was written in like 5 minutes on a shop floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's tables in there.
Not very good ones.
Okay. Picture in my head's pretty funny.
The rough estimate that we were, that was on there was 4-year colleges, tuitions and fees. It's $9,000 in state per semester, but
I think total, what was it, 140,000, 150,000?
well, 140, 130 was about the average cost for your 4-year degree. And it just gets more expensive from there if you're picking a higher education one.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Yeah, 100,000 to 180,000.
180,000.
And there's so many different things that can change that: in-state, out-of-state,
Right.
what you're picking, if you're staying on campus, out of campus, if you're doing their food plans, all that sort of stuff.
Right. Well, see, whenever I joined the union, it was 4 years. You had to go like college, but you worked, and it had set up. You had to have 6,000 working hours and 648 class hours you had in order to journey out. And then they give you a certificate, basically kind of like college certificates.
Yep.
You can take this anywhere in the country. It shows that you're trained in a skill. But, anyhow.
Basically saying, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You've been doing it for a good chunk of time now.
Well, then you come out and you got that. It counts as college credits, and you don't have the debt. You're not $140,000 in debt.
Well, like getting into trade schools too, if they are significantly lower cost than college. Like your general
30 to 40.
range, trade schools typically fall in between 5,000 to 330K. And that just depends on whether you're going short programs or long programs, such as automotive technology, your framing, construction, HVAC, welding. Those programs tend to be more expensive just because there's a broader band of stuff.
Some opinions on college.
Well, let's hear 'em.
So, it was about a year ago that I was looking for some videography jobs. That's my dream job, And I found that about 80% of all the videography jobs require a college degree. That is the dumbest, most ignorant way to find people that are good at their job when it comes to videography. Because I've done this for a couple years.
Well, like when you're in college doing that stuff, you're not out actually doing your photography crap. You're stuck with a lot of bullshit classes, correct?
Well, I've never been, so I'm assuming so.
Oh, well, that's.
But I've been doing this for quite a while. I'm damn good at my job. Okay. I should not have to have a degree to be able to find a videography job. This is for all the employers out there. If you think that someone who is techie, how should I say this? Someone who is tech savvy is only tech savvy because of their college education. That is the most ignorant, most bullheaded, stupid ass thing I've ever heard. Okay? Trying to come up with a more insulting way to say this.
That's not insult. It's just aggravating is what it is.
It's unnecessary. It's so ignorant.
Well, I went into college to do conservation. I wanted to be a game warden. And within a year of doing construction, I was already making more than what a game warden salary is. And I kind of looked at that and I was like, the costs kind of outweigh what I'm getting out of it. That's what it seems for a lot of degrees. Like you're putting so much money in, but...
Well, so whenever I was in college back in 2013, 2014, I went to college, my degree would have been Associates of Applied Science Construction Trades, because you did the hands-on.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a management degree, it wasn't nothing like that. And I was working for an outfit as an intern. Well, anyhow, I asked them, I said, if I go through the 4 years of college and I come out, you guys are going to I still got a job outside of college? They go, yes. Well, is it going to be an hourly rate or a salary? Can't say it right. Rate. And they go, well, it's going to be about $52,000 a year. So I called, and that was
terrible.
Yeah, and that was for running work. And so I looked up how much, a union job was, and I found out you can make almost $80,000 a year just swinging a hammer. And so that's whenever I dropped out and went and did that route, and I'm not in any debt from it. That's all paid for. Didn't have to do any extra classes. And if you wanted to work your way up the food chain in the trades, you can start at the bottom and you can work your way up to a superintendent, or if you're an entrepreneur, you can work your way up to start your own company if you want to go that route. And you don't have to spend $180,000 or $130,000 in debt to get there. There's ways to do it. And that's the reason why I went the route I went, was I make more now, and I don't have any debt to go with it.
Didn't come out of the thing swimming in debt trying to get it all paid off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I started doing the construction, I was still doing online college classes at the time, and so mine was a little bit cheaper. But right. I realized real fast that construction was paying a lot better than game wardening, and I didn't have to do the. I think all I had to do was 4 years for that degree, but at the same time, it was 4 extra years of money I didn't have to fork out and get loan from the bank and have to pay back once everything was said and done.
Yep, and student loans, you can't file bankruptcy on them. You have to pay them back.
Yeah, you keep them. You don't lose those.
Mm-hmm. You can't do it like any other loan. You have to pay it back. As to where, a lot of people don't see it that way, but these schools nowadays, you notice, let's say job days or whatever, fair days where they do that, you don't ever see anyone stand in line to, let's go be a roofer, let's go be a plumber.
Well, and even on job days, you don't see the construction side of any of those jobs show up on job days.
Exactly.
I've been to a couple, and a lot of them were in building desk jobs or stuff along those lines that maybe in the 4 or 5 times I went to job fairs, going to school, I don't think I ever once seen a construction group in them. I don't know about you if you've ever went to any of those job fairs and seen any.
I mean, the reason that people go to construction blue collar jobs is because you can literally, there's a market everywhere. Like here in Bates, for example, here in Bates County, there's not a videography market. In Kansas City, there is one. It's not the same with blue collar jobs. You're going to find a job market in everywhere all across.
There's
the country.
always something being built,
Right.
whether it be from roads to skyscrapers or anywhere in between. There's always something being put
And you
up.
don't need anything to start.
Drill bits.
What?
I said drill bits. And bits. That's all you really need.
There is a market everywhere. Okay. Fuck. I forgot where I was going to go with this. God damn you.
You forgot the thought? Oh, god damn.
Oh, good.
It's a bad day, isn't it?
You piss me off in every way possible. Happens all the time. That's mainly why a lot of people are attracted to the construction and blue collar industry. Because it's easy to find, and it's easy to get on with.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you approach a younger guy who's deciding, okay, do I go to college or do I follow another path? And then he talks to guys that are on the job, and we're always complaining about how our body hurts. Why? How do you convince a young person to go into this industry?
Well, it's really hard to when college and even schools are just pushing college degrees,
They took shop. A lot of your high schools took shop class out.
which makes it even harder to try to convince somebody when
Well, I
all
can-
they've been fed is get a degree going to this.
Well, I can tell you, if you like working with your hands, if you like seeing stuff being built, it's rewarding in its own way. Now, I'm not gonna lie and sit here and say my body don't hurt. Heck, there's days if I sleep wrong, I hurt.
You're just old.
I'm only 30.
Glad you finally accepted it, buddy.
Only 30, and your body hurts. I mean,
How do you think he has so many races? That's why his knees always hurt.
all right, I don't want to do this forever. You're 30 years old. That's really not that old.
It ain't. No.
Your body hurts like hell. All right,
It does.
doesn't work like a normal guy should.
No, heck, but I'm waking up at 3:30 every morning, taking off, but I choose to live an hour and a half away from where I work. So I'm waking up at 3:30, I'm hitting the road a little after 4 to get to the job at 6. And I'm working 8-10 hours a day, or even worse, 10 to 12. You're up and down, you're on your feet all that time.
Well, for example, all right, let's run a scenario. I'm 18 years old. I don't know whether I should go to college or another path. Try to convince me that blue collar is the way to go.
Okay. It's very rewarding because whenever you start, take Cartner for example, you're there from the foundation to when the last doorknob gets put in. You get to watch an entire building start from a hole in the ground to finished drywall up, the lights are in, and you actually have something. You go from nothing to something. You go from, and then you get to see years down the road what that building got turned into, wherever that house got turned into, whatever that family's done with it. You get to see what your product or whatever you built gets turned into. I see it all the time.
My dad still brags about the,
Yeah, it's,
well, he still brags about the stairs that went up in one of the Bass Pro Shops that he got to help set up and everything.
he brags about the Grandview Triangle.
I know.
Is the pride in your work? Is that much pride in your work worth your body aching at 30?
Yeah, it is. And then I get, and a part of it is I get to sit here and say,
The things we are building,
I make a pretty good living. I'm in no student loan debt. I'm not sitting here trying to pay it off. I can pretty much, there's such a high demand in my field, I could quit my job tomorrow and I could be somewhere else within the next 24 hours. There's such a high demand right now, I don't have to work for this one company. I can go work for another one within the next day.
I like
Yeah,
seeing-
yeah, the body hurts. But you can get a job sitting at a desk, and being in all that debt and everything, but you're still, it's kind of pick and choose. You can sit at a desk all day, but what's the overrate obesity for desk jobs, heart problems, this and that. As to where my field, it's aches and pains and this and that from picking heavy stuff up all day, but I'm active. You know.
So you don't have coronary problems or heart problems in your field at all?
Well, some do, some don't. Some of that's genetics. But you get where I'm saying. You're physically active all day. Your body stays healthy from the activity in doing it. It ain't sitting at a desk, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, every week of the year. You actually get you get your steps in, as they would say.
I like being able to see, and some of the stuff we build, it's going to outlast us a long time once we're gone.
Yeah, they say that most modern day buildings, they figure about 50 years.
Are you going to be here 50 years after you build your last thing?
That'd put me at 70. Going off family history, no.
Yeah. The shit we build is it's gonna be there long after we're already buried, and it's kind of cool to know, like, in your life you've built so much stuff and put so much stuff out there and worked on so many things that you've kind of left your own footprint behind you.
There is. I got, in just the years I've been doing it, I got such a footprint behind me, and I've been in for a short amount of years compared to most. There's a big building I done down in Bentonville, Arkansas. There's an 18-story building I helped work on in, 1400 Baltimore. I helped do a bridge not too far outside of Butler.
Yeah.
The list goes on. I helped do a medical clinic, surgical addition in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Did a elementary school in Pittsburgh, Kansas. And every creek and crevice that you can think of in Kansas City, I've left a footprint.
I'll say in just the short time I've been in, we got buildings in Vermont, Tennessee, Texas. It's just kind of cool to know that you got stuff all around everywhere that you've been able to work on and put out there for people.
You've had a hand in that.
Yeah.
It's, the pay's good depending on what you do. But that is, like you said, the pride in your work. You got to have good pride in your work. But it's 50 years from now, my grandkids can be like, my grandpa built that. And I see it now because craftsmanship comes up to my family. If I were to do it today, I'd be a third-generation cabinet builder.
Yep.
Grandpa did it. Dad did it. I chose to go a different route. But I could have done the same thing, and I could have been a cabinet builder. And to this day, if I can go in, they got their little signature touch, and I'd be like, I know exactly who built those cabinets.
Well, just like the cabinet shop that our friend, Dad's friend, everybody used to run, man, those cabinets are freaking everywhere around here.
Exactly.
Like, I would say, what would be the percentage cabinets that you think are just in, like, the Kansas City area?
Oh, God.
That was put in by him.
We put in a pile.
Yeah, there's a lot. We
put in a pile of them. And it's gone anywhere. Heck, he's put cabinets in up in Ohio before. And then we put cabinets, I think we went up, did one in Trenton, Missouri, and then we went down past Joplin and installed cabinets. But I started doing that at 15. I'd go in and help install. I never got to the building of it, but you want to make a few extra bucks? Yeah. Well,
come with me.
Yep, come with me.
I did I did a couple installs with him. Well, a good handful of them, and then, I stained. Christ. He'd send me a text and be like, "Hey, you want a little bit of weekend work?" He goes, "I got about 2 houses worth of trim that just showed up." And I'm like, "Oh God."
Yep, I have to go do the trim, but you're seeing it now, or I'm kind of seeing it now. There's an old church that was built in 1876 that I live next to, and I found out not that long ago my 5th great-grandfather built that church.
Really?
Yeah. So he doesn't get to see how it's lasted all these years, but
everybody else does.
His descendants got to see that old building's still standing of his handiwork. You know, same with whenever I'm gone, my descendants, if I can start off with my kids, say, hey, you know, I done this or I done that, and then 20 years goes by or
Well,
30.
I can pretty much say when I travel anywhere over any other bridges around these areas, I can be like, my dad put the rod in this concrete.
Mm-hmm.
He worked on so many. Just the one about a mile from my place. There's, his range. I don't know how far it goes.
I know he did some down around Mount Vernon.
Yeah, he was in Mount Vernon for a while. I don't think he misses it though. That being a rod buster really tore him up.
And you want to explain rod busting, what a rod buster is?
They pretty much put, like, once the concrete and they're setting up the bridges, they're the ones putting in all the rebar. They're packing the rebar, they're tying the rebar in. It's a very physically demanding job.
Mm-hmm.
And some of that rebar is long. And my dad would carry, I can't remember the tonnage he said, but
I was about to say, their work's all based off of how many tons they set in a day.
yeah. And Dad and them would kick it. They'd get a lot done, and I'm glad he's out of it. I mean, when he did it, he made good money, and I think he liked seeing how everything went. But that right there is one of those jobs that will really tear your body up.
That's the one that'll tear, but I know your dad pulled his out twice.
Annuity.
Yeah, the annuity out twice, but you got to realize them iron workers, they actually make more than a carpenter. We make more on the check, but they make more in the
benefits.
Mm-hmm. It's like $10 an hour annuity. So if you start at 18, you work until you're 60, you got over $1 million in that annuity.
Yeah.
Just from that $10 an hour you're paying into it. But, you know, each trade's got their own different break-off points. Carpenter, you can go from structural to doing concrete. You know, you form up the big forms, forming it up, to your framers. And there's two different types. There's residential framers where you're doing wood framing and stuff like that, or you're doing steel studs and drywall.
Yeah.
You know, that's your two different framers.
Which that's pretty much all your commercial side is all steel stud, and then you said most of the time it's not drywall. It's what is it?
Den's glass.
Den's glass.
It's sheetrock with a bunch of fiberglass put in it.
Fancy sheetrock.
Yeah, itchy sheetrock.
Itchy sheetrock.
That's what I call it, itchy sheetrock. Because, trust me, you want to wear long sleeves and gloves whenever you're cutting that stuff. It's not like putting in insulation, cutting it.
And I did see your snap the other day that you sent to the group chat about the ICRA.
Yes.
Yeah, seeing that photo kind of actually solidified how you guys kind of set that up for that.
So ICRA, that's a beast of its own. If you're going in and out of hospitals, you're working in hospitals, that picture was a good one because it showed you the hard panels and it showed you the plastic.
Yep.
So let's say this piece of drywall is broke and we got to go in and fix. That was a whole nother deal. But you got to go in and fix that drywall. You got to basically, let's say plastic and poles, and you got to go up to the ceiling, you got to plastic that off, then you put in a zipper. That way you got to weigh in and out.
Contain the whole area,
yep.
all
Then
the dust.
You go on the outside and you tape all the seam. That way whatever dust comes, it stays right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of for us. So if we're working in like an actual room or something, we do that. That's so whatever the patients have doesn't come to us, and whatever we spread, like the dust and stuff, doesn't get to the patient. It's a barrier between the two.
Yeah.
And it normally involves having an air filter. We call it an air scrubber. That's just the easiest way to call it. And what it does is it'll filter the air out and suck it on through and scrubs the air to where it pretty much
Keeps everything clean.
Yeah, keeps the dust. Whatever dust in the air, it sucks it out and filters it through. And so there's a lot of different things to that. Then you got your trim side. I mean, there's different things in the carpenters, iron workers. There's, the rod busters like you'd mentioned. You got your structural
and
guys.
If any rod busters watch this, I'm super not well informed, so if you guys have anything to put on that about what you guys do, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, if there's any carpenters on there, I'd love to hear from you too.
And send whatever you say to oxmidwestern@gmail.com. That's oxmidwestern@gmail.com.
We'd love to hear from all you guys, and if you guys have anything you guys want us to say on here, we'd love to bring it up and talk about it. But back on to the trim stuff.
Trim, now that's, if you get really, I know that as the thing goes in carpentry side, you get really good at doing finish work, you'll never have to look for another job, because finish guys are hard to find. Good finish guys, and that could be anywhere from doing solid surface tops or epoxy tops. There's different names for it. It's Corian is what it is. It's a hardened plastic.
We use Onyx products, that resin.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yep.
stuff is awesome because you can cut it with wood tools.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I love it.
You cut it to size and you just get it where you want it. You use suction cups.
Now, it is kind of a bitch at some points, especially if you've never worked with it and you just kind of, you're starting to do it. It's like, how do I mess with this stuff? And once you realize, well, anything that can cut wood can cut it, you're like, well, man, maybe it's not that bad.
Yep, you can cut it to fit, and then all you need is sanders to smooth it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's very forgiving. But, you know, you got that. Then
Lighter than granite.
Yeah. A lot lighter.
So much lighter.
And don't even get me started on concrete tops.
We had a slab one time, and it was maybe the size of this table, and probably 2 inches thick, and about 2 inches thick. I hated that thing.
You gotta eat your Wheaties, boy.
That was the bane of my existence for about 2 days. I did not want to touch it once we moved it.
Oh. No, speaking of how that works, I remember, so I did a lot of structural concrete, especially at 18. I was just now thinking about this. At 18 years old, I remember, a 2 foot wide by 8 foot long Simon form panel. I used to be able to, they used to be able to hand it to me, I used to sling it up and put it in place with one arm. Now I'm to the point I don't even want it. I don't want to do
Keep it away from me.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I quit doing that, and
See,
I
I can't say anything later back, like when you were 18. Yeah, I was still riding the bus to school. Yeah.
Probably the short bus, but
It only had about 4 rows of seats, so don't make fun of it.
it's all right. I rode the short bus all the way to Votech. But anyhow, no, there's so many different things to do with the trades. You know, you got glaziers. They put in the big glass windows.
Well, just in like if you bring up painting, you got your guys that can spray really good, and then if you got people that come in and tape, you got like in certain sections you got a whole list of people that do stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got
we could sit here and talk for days about every section and every skill and every trade.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, the list goes on. There's so many different trades out there that could use someone to come do it. It usually y'all coexist together, especially once you get into like the commercial buildings.
Yeah.
And I know I'm the carpenter. I want to swing the doors, put on the hardware. I don't want to touch that paintbrush. You know, I don't want to tie the rebar. They're willing to tie the rebar, they tie it, and we all kind of, or they want to hang the drywall. Now, granted, hanging drywall is a carpenter's job, but I still don't want to do that either.
I don't blame you. Drywall's nasty.
I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
That shit makes me itch. That dust. I just not a fan of it.
But no.
I always got to wash my arms and dust myself off once I'm done messing with it. Because then if I don't, I itch all day.
Right. Well, anyhow, we kind of got off of our modern day. We was going to talk about modern day boomtowns, and then. So you got. I know Kansas City's got a pretty good market right now. Got a lot of places. They say Bentonville, Arkansas. It's got so much work coming up right now.
Hold on, I'm trying to figure this out. There we go. Let's see if we can get down to your chicken scratch.
I can read it.
So we got Phoenix. We got
Well, start at the bottom.
Phoenix.
No, that's number one. That's the Phoenix, Arizona's booming right now. That place has more construction going on.
We got Riverside, California, Nashville, Los Angeles, Columbia, Chicago.
Columbia, South Carolina.
Columbia, South Carolina. Chicago.
Boise, Idaho.
Boise, Idaho. New York City.
Jacksonville, Florida.
That's a hell of a J.
Thank you.
Jay.
Yeah, it's a J. Denver, Dallas, Austin, Texas, Salt Lake City, Orlando, Houston,
Raleigh, North Carolina.
Raleigh, North Carolina,
and then Phoenix.
Well, you got to think there's going to be a lot of construction. That list is very subject to change this year on a number of things. Just think it was North Carolina, correct? That pretty much got washed away.
Mm-hmm.
There's
a
lot of work coming up in those places.
Well, I was 16 when the tornado hit Joplin, and that was right whenever I was starting trade schools. And the guy told me, he says, they'll have work there abundantly for the next 10 years because of a natural catastrophe. There's still a lot of work going on down there.
North Carolina, we went to North Carolina, and the Walmart that was down there, less than, I think it was about an hour from where we were, gone. Mm-hmm. Completely washed away. We actually seen a picture of it where it was standing, and then it just, we had a group of people go down there not too long ago to do some stuff, and they said most of the major roads are still just closed. They had to take back roads to get to places. Mm-hmm. They said the damage down there is just insane.
And road infrastructure, that's a whole, like I said, I know Bentonville, because I just worked down there last year. I'm surprised it ain't on that list, because they were saying 3 people a day was moving into Bentonville, Rogers, Arkansas area. There was so much work. Everywhere you turned around, there was a construction site in every direction.
Now,
and the infrastructure as a whole city, picture about several million people in a town that's kind of like Nevada, roads like Nevada. So it was constantly traffic, so more people's coming in, so you know the road infrastructure is going to have to improve. And then the buildings are going to go up.
Lots of stuff are going to have to grow.
So that's all booming right now. These cities, of course.
Well, with the Boomtowns and everything, there's so much construction, there's so much stuff needing to be done, stuff needs to be expanded, and us having a shortage on workers, we're gonna have lots of delays. Like, It's going to take longer for stuff to get done.
Well,
and we had talked about that the other night and discussed it when we were at my place. What was some of the stuff that is going to basically impact with these boomtowns with our workers shortening?
There's probably going to come a time whenever, like, let's say, and I see it now with some of like your superintendents, they're going to want to retire, and the company's going to be like, name your price. We need a guy like you with the experience. They don't care what you say. You literally name your price, and we're gonna keep you. If you're good at what you do, no matter what trade you're in, they're literally gonna beg you to stay.
Well, that's going back to the topic we said with 56% of the construction industry being at retirement age, and for every construction worker leaving, we're not having enough to replace them.
Exactly.
Like, for every 5, we're getting 1.
Right.
And, well, the math on that don't work very well for...
Well, they've dumbed down the trades so much over the years. So they, at 16, I said, I think I'm going to go into construction. I decided as a teenager what I wanted to do. And he's the dumb child. Toss him. It's like, there's a high demand for it. That was my thinking. There's a high demand. But everyone that went in for all these degrees, they're not even, I think the people that I know that went in, I know a guy that he went to school for heavy equipment operator. He ain't even a heavy equipment operator. or there was one of them, I can't remember what they went for, but they don't even do that degree. They spend all that money and they're not even using the degree. At 16, I said, I'm going to go into construction and I'm going to go after that. And I'm still doing it, but...
Well, Christ, before I'd even thought about construction, I'd actually helped a buddy of mine with one of his family's houses that they had just started building, and they had me putting rebar for the concrete for the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that one of the guys there knew my dad, and I was tying all the rebar down there, and he offered tying rebar for union. Asked me if I wanted to do that and if I wanted to get into it, and if I did, he'd get me in. And I was like, I kind of thought about it. I was like, it's good money, but it's just, I've seen what it did to my dad, and I was like,
and there's a stigma there. People are really scared. Oh, I'm going to tear my body up and this and that. Yes, it's going to tear you up, but
well, that was still when I wanted to do the conservation. That was put in my head of, well, I got to get a degree. That was when I was in that mindset until I actually started getting into it.
They put that in your head, but if you take care of yourself, don't run off of 4 hours of sleep every night. Get some sleep at night. Don't.
Hey, I think you should take some advice right there.
I don't need sleep.
How many tweaker shots a morning?
Let's not.
Try 4.
Okay, we don't need to be pointing people out here, okay?
It's 5.
No, it's 5 and an Irish cream monster.
Okay, I like my caffeine. I have a slight addiction, okay? Caffeine and
It goes for
paint.
every tweaker shot, that's 2 hours of sleep.
Gas station pills.
I sleep more now than what I did at 25. No, not 25, 23. Because I worked at
Well, there's a reason to that. That's off the floor subjects, but
Well, I was working at a plant. So I work 12, 16 hours a day. I go in at 7 o'clock in the morning. It might be midnight by the time I leave working at that plant. I got out of construction for about a couple years and went and worked at a plant. And it was kind of like concrete. But
gotta make sure that's on for you.
Would you like a hot fry?
No, thank you, buddy. They're all yours.
keep them. I can smell the heartburn.
I don't get heartburn.
You're lucky.
Just give it a couple years.
These are really good.
Review? What the fuck is that face? This is an edit out section. This just has to be sent to us.
Yeah, these hot fries. Busted.
Can you just send us a drive photo with all the bloopers?
Busted.
I need the drive folder for these bloopers. These gotta be gold. You ain't feeding me like we are not doing this. Give it to Doug. He wants it.
No. That smells like pain in a chip form.
It's fry.
Well, fry, whatever. As for sending my kid after a ranch that doesn't even exist, well, actually, I started that.
You cannot admit it wasn't peaceful there for a little bit.
It was, and it was absolutely hilarious whenever you go back. It's right here. Send an 8-year-old.
I felt so bad. I came back with, I literally grabbed that crescent wrench off the tractor, walked in there while he was looking in the same drawer and set my hand down and picked up, even though I still had it, and it was right here, Liam, right here, the left-handed crescent wrench. And I walked back and I gave it to you.
You're a terrible person.
Who started it?
Wait, how old is this kid at this time?
8.
Oh my god!
I told him to find the can of compressed air for the chainsaws.
For the context, we was working on a tractor of mine, and my boy.
How about burn it down? How about burnt it down?
Yeah, you about burnt my tractor up. Thanks.
Hey,
thanks,
lights
bud.
got on though, did they not?
The lights are temperamental. I got to play with the switch every now and then for them to turn on. So, my boy, he wants to be just like Dad. He wants to learn what Dad's doing. Mike comes over, we're working on the tractor, and he keeps asking all kinds of questions and everything. And me and Mike just kind of look at each other, and I looked at my boy and I go, "Son, will you go fetch me a left-handed metric crescent wrench?" And then Mike says, "Yeah, we need the can of compressed air too."
This boy is 8 years old.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's getting his
Hey,
getting his balls busted at a time where he should be maybe 18 or maybe 16 on his first job. At 8 years old, that's gonna fuck him up in the future. Are you aware of that?
hey,
Bill's character.
just think. He'll be the apprentice that knows every single one of the jokes and knows how to fight in a prank war.
I did not.
Oh,
think about
we
that.
do not.
I did not think about that. You are fucked.
Don't get me started on the great prank wars of 2023. That was fun.
I
Now
was
you
sent.
have to get started.
Well, I was sent
You can't just
every.
bring it up.
It was when me and him started snapping again. He started sending me these snaps every week about the progression of that prank war,
Okay.
and every time it got funnier and funnier and funnier until they had to stop.
I think what made it stop, because I had to literally keep my tools around me at all times, or else they would wind up on the wall tied to the rebar at the very top. Or I remember I had took this kid's hammer and I had laid it on the form and I drove a nail down, over, and I took the other nails and I bent the nails over those nails and I bent the nails over those nails. I think I had like 50 nails holding one hammer down to a piece of 2x4.
You go, Dad.
Thanks, son. I can't remember what all he done. It finally broke one of my speed squares. And so what I did to kind of put the final nail in the coffin, I took his harness with his tool bags. And this was on break time. I didn't do it during company hours.
I'm glad you
But-
clarified that.
Yeah.
But here's the kicker.
has, you know.
Hey, but here's
Yeah.
the kicker. The kid had to take it off on company hours.
That's where I got in trouble. Because what I did was I took concrete sticks and the D-loop of that, and I took one and I did a 45-degree angle, drove that into the ground where there was about maybe an inch sticking up, and I stuck a nail in the hole and I sunk it down the ground. I took one, I went the other direction, and I done that where there's about that much sticking up. Then I started doing that on all over. I mean, I had that sucker sunk into the ground with like 4 stakes. It took him 2 hours to get it out of the ground. Oh no, was it that or was it whenever I took a bunch of zip ties and I tied them around his dry shaft?
How fast did he turn his truck off?
Pretty quick. And
You are a terrible man.
you don't start a prank war with me.
No, you should have put
I'm zip tying harmonicas to
shaft
the underside
from
of your
the-
vehicle next time.
from the engine to the transmission.
Actually, no. I'm gonna go on Amazon, and I don't know if you've seen those high-pitched deer whistles that you can put on your car.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy a pack of 50 of them. And I'm gonna zip tie them all to the underside of his truck.
Well, good. I won't hit a deer.
No, but you start going pretty quick, you're gonna wonder why why your truck sounds like it's got turbos in it.
Who was that? That was Doug.
Are you guys ready for this video I'm going to show you?
Yeah, let's see the
Let's see
video.
it.
I'm sure you've seen it before.
Probably, and I'm scared.
And I just want to get your thoughts on it. As blue collar men. At 3:52, this man gets out of bed. This is morning routine.
Why are you on this trend right now?
But I just want to know what your guys'
Everyone is
thoughts are.
making so much fun of this dude. It's been insane.
All right. This man needs a bra.
I know that's a lie because most blue collar guys don't have 6-pack set abs.
Well, he's not a blue collar guy.
Can you stand up and show us, Doug?
Oh, they're there. It's just underneath the keg.
It's underneath the cake.
Go on.
I got a belly.
For delicious. All right.
I got a belly.
At 4:40 in the morning, he journals. And I guess it looks at Instagram. He does this about 4 times a day, dipping his face in water. I don't know what he put on his legs. They're compression socks, but they don't go down to your feet. What
No,
the hell's the point?
they're compression for your calves. Calf compression.
But why not the foot?
Your foot doesn't need compression.
Homie decides to take a swim after working out. $8 a.m.
This is worrying.
He rubs banana on his face. What? There's water again. Has a slave make him some breakfast. At only 9 a.m. is he getting some breakfast. He's in love with the Saratoga water. Now, do you think you could fit all that into your morning routine?
No, because Doug's already gone before before it's even light out.
I'm just past my first cup of coffee on that him doing his morning routine. No. 38, 37.99
for a 24 pack. What the hell?
It's just water.
But it comes from a glacier.
$25 for a pack of 12.
That is stupid.
Of course it.
This is 12 ounce.
Oh God, it's still water.
Spring water. That. Oh.
That's ridiculous. If it's that price, it should come up from a glacier that's never touched man.
Diet type. Vegetarian.
You don't say.
How the fuck is water vegetarian? I mean,
I want to drink some water that's carnivore.
I think at that point you're just getting to a smoothie, buddy.
Modern
That
day
is-
world hurts my head.
That is ridiculous. Now, see, this is not where I
Is he
was.
sponsored by Saratoga?
He probably has to be.
How much is this?
That is the cleanest workout fit I've ever seen.
You know, he just did it for a photo shoot.
I was about to say that's pretty clean.
See, he's also wearing the white hat.
Just want to get your thoughts on this guy.
One, I don't know him. I don't even know his name or anything, but
Ashton Hall's his name.
I'm assuming he worked construction.
Are you sure?
Well, based off of 2019, but I would say that's a lie. Because, yeah, I'd be up about the same time as what his, quote, morning routine is, but I don't have time to sit here and do push-ups and all this and that. I'd have to be up at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my God.
These influencers that's telling these young men to journal. Why?
To journal.
They say it's good for your mental health. I'm calling bullshit.
My mental health involves me with a fire and a beer.
Well, normally sometimes yours fire and beer. Mine is, again, coffee, but early morning, sun coming up, barely picks up, nice crisp morning, nothing's going on, and you just let the world pass by. Every now and then I'll enjoy a nice cigar early in the morning.
I do like waking up before everything else wakes up and just being able to sit
Yeah,
out there and kind of listen to the world
Yep.
start waking up.
I know it sounds like an old man's thing, but
No, I completely agree with you.
it's kind of that reset. And there's been a lot of times I'll sleep in on the weekends, but
This wasn't meant to be a serious conversation. I was planning on us making fun of this guy.
Well, we're serious right now, so just
the
wait
dude
till
makes
we...
fun of himself.
I don't think he does. He
The
looks
thing
pretty
I like
serious.
about the fires, though, is you get like
Look at this.
you get like a nice
What a chode.
A nice night where it's not too hot, not too cold. It's that kind of brisk in between. Kind of just sitting there watching the sun go down.
I know dudes that work. I'll put it this way. I know guys that work out after work, and I never see that.
Dude,
you've never.
My
seen
dad had a fella that he was working with him, and he would run after work, after they got done tying rebar, and he also ended up when they were, I can't remember where they were, but they were out by a national park, and that entire time they were out there, he camped in the national park. After work, every night. Now I don't think I could do that. Maybe one night would be pretty cool.
That'd be doing some serious roughing it.
Spot the difference.
You just caught me so fucking off guard. Byron, you're going someplace. Your YouTube's going some weird places, buddy. Dude, it kind of just felt like you just spurred up overnight too. Like it.
Yeah.
Like
what
there
was that?
I have no idea. There was nothing on this dude that I'd ever seen. Then suddenly I just see bananas and that water everywhere.
We're wanting to do a hiring list, so if you're a company owner or whatever, you guys are wanting to hire someone to come work for you, please reach out to
Myself, Byron D. Brooks, at oxmidwestern@gmail.com. That's OXMIDWESTERN@gmail.com.
And along with that, you had mentioned at some point in this podcast, bringing in certain trades. And
bring in certain trades, interviewing them and talking to them about their trades or company owners. Byron wants to do a deal about entrepreneurship, or you'd mentioned it to me before.
I do?
I thought you wanted to do something about success.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, cut that out.
Well, I'm losing my damn mind.
But yeah, we want to be able to have invite certain trades out, talk to certain trades. You had mentioned on International Women's Month.
I want to actually do that during they got their own month now. I can't remember what month that is. Get a woman in the trade. Get a woman that's actually working in the trades.
I think we missed the deadline.
Hey, we missed it.
We missed it, so we're gonna have to.
We will find out. We'll find out a month that we want to do it and try to get someone.
I love them.
Try to get someone out here.
If you want to sponsor this Shop 4 podcast, you can email me at oxmidwestern@gmail.com. We would welcome all sponsors.
In the Shop Floor podcast, I'm Mike.
I'm Doug.
I'm fucking tired.